Here's Steve.
Down in Austin, Texas. And last night I was the MC and host and special guest at the Austin Juggling Festival. It's the 32nd annual Austin Juggling Festival. I don't know if any of you guys know this, but I am a gold medal winning juggler. I won the gold medal in the International Jugglers Association World Championships. So, yeah, I'm kind of proud of that. And I actually just found afterwards, there was like an after party, and went to this guy's house, really nice house, and he has a bunch of juggle magazines. So there's actually a publication called Juggle Magazine that was, among jugglers, like a big deal. It's like the only juggling magazine, I think, and it's really well done. And he had the copy of the magazine that came out after I won the gold medal. And so it had an article about me winning the gold medal, like in the magazine. And he actually gave me the magazine. So I've now got this. It's like a cool, kind of a cool keepsake.
Let me ask you a question.
I'll show you. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, David. So, like, not to, I mean, I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of David's anyway, but that's beside the point. Walking on your hands, riding a unicycle while you play a guitar and singing in Chinese. But juggling wise is an amazing skill. When I watch the Olympics, I see some not so amazing skills.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't juggling be in the Olympics?
That's a good question. There's actually a lot of, there's a lot of people that are trying to get juggling in the Olympics.
I mean, that is so hard to do. Like,
yeah.
I can't speak
I know.
Spanish
I don't understand. Like, even like breakdancing, like, or something like that. It's like, what's any more athletic about that than like juggling? Like,
juggling is like really hard to do. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, breakdancing, okay, but really, like, maybe you could figure that out in like 30 days. But juggling, I don't know about that.
Yeah, there's some pushes to get it in the Olympics, but it just hasn't happened yet. But it's kind of very complicated getting new sports added to the Olympics. So it takes a lot of money and a lot of there's a lot of political stuff and things.
Sure.
But it's on it's sort of on the list of things that are being considered essentially.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, we got a couple people on here now watching. So if you have any questions, we're here to answer your questions all about hair loss, hair transplants, how not to lose your hair, how to get your hair back, everything like that. So Steve and I have spent a lot of our lives learning about this stuff.
Yes, we have.
And I never would have thought that hair loss, like helping people with their hair, would become such a big part of my life. But
did you know, I don't know if I've ever even told you this, this is in 2011. I took a year off of like my work, or kind of sort of, and I studied online marketing for hair transplants and hair loss. And at that time, when you were able to get Google AdWords keyword tool for free, the hair loss was actually searched 2 million times a month. It was one of the top searches in the world, period.
Yeah.
So it's pretty important what we're doing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think it's one, like, for men, it's probably the sort of like, what would you call it? I mean, androgenic alopecia is going to be, is it a disease, or like, what would you call androgenic alopecia? Like a deficiency?
No, I mean, I think
I have been working on this all this time. I have no idea what actually it is.
I mean, you know how they say, like, like our pinkies are smaller than they were, like, a million years ago, or a small toe may go away.
Okay.
All that kind of stuff. I guess it's preparing us for, not needing these things because we're going to be using, I don't know. But what I hear is that it's an evolution thing, and it is definitely a genetic thing. And eventually, like all those futuristic movies, we're not going to have any hair. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to have hair and you're going to have hair.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I think, especially at a young age, this sort of like the medical deficiency, or medical, like, degenerative thing that affects the most people, because it affects more people, like more guys before their skin goes, the skin starts sagging and getting wrinkly. Like, many more guys like start going bald.
100%. Well, it really, I see your point, but what I would tell you is it really has nothing to do with aging, other than once you go through puberty, right? Mm-hmm. So like a 19-year-old or an 18-year-old is exactly the same age as a 50-year-old when it comes to becoming sensitive to the DHT. So in other words, I was sensitive to DHT at, let's say, 18, whereas, like, my next door neighbor might not be sensitive to the DHT till he's 50. The age difference means nothing. It's just when your body becomes sensitive, genetically programmed to do so to the DHT.
Okay, gotcha.
See what I'm saying? So like the aging thing, now that I kind of know what that is a little bit, with when it comes to teeth, when it comes to hearing and eyesight, and it comes to your skin and your organs and your muscle, all that stuff is definitely something that's going to continue, unfortunately, to be an issue as you get older, but not necessarily with hair loss. It's really just that little stopwatch in your body's genetic makeup of when you were pre-programmed to start becoming sensitive to the DHT.
Gotcha. Cool. So we don't have any like really good questions yet. I don't even know what these questions mean, to be honest. Would you take back shots to be famous? I don't know what even a back shot is, but I'm gonna guess no. I don't really care about being famous for random shit. Yeah. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them if they're related to hair loss. I think that becoming famous is really easy. I think what's hard is becoming famous for what you want to be famous for. But just becoming famous is not hard. You can do some crazy stuff and become famous. I mean, go shoot up a school, you'll be famous.
Yeah.
So becoming famous is not a hard thing to do. It's becoming famous for something good and something you want to be famous for, I think, is actually pretty hard. So, what else? So yeah, I'll go back into talking about this this MC thing. So I was asked to be a special guest. Feel free to ask your hair transplant questions or hair loss questions, but until we get those, we'll just chat about some random stuff. So I was the special guest to this Austin Juggling Festival, my first time ever MCing any kind of event, and there were all these incredible jugglers. So that was awesome, and it was just cool to be like recognized in a special way by this community that I've been a fan of since I was like 11 years old. I started juggling, and I went to all these juggling festivals, and so now to be like the guy that they're asking to come there and to represent this specialty is like very cool.
Well, I mean, you won the gold medal, so
Yeah.
I would invite you.
Yeah, but I mean I won the gold medal a long time ago, but I guess even now to be like, because there were other gold medal winners in the show,
Yeah.
right? I wasn't like the only one. So
Yeah.
like, actually this, the one guy who's won more golds than me for sure, and he was in the show. But I feel like being like the special guest and the host and MC is like a much higher honor. It's
Yeah.
like we're not just like recognizing that you've like gotten good. It's like we're recognizing that you're important in the community.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
In order
It's
to
a
like,
niche.
Yeah.
You know what would have been really funny? If you made believe you forgot how to juggle after all these years. And then you went up there and started fooling around, and then all of a sudden you know what I mean? Like, that would have been funny.
Yeah.
No, I have a lot of respect for David. As you know, and you also are a singer-songwriter. You're an entertainer. You play multiple instruments, all of which I cannot do. And I'm not afraid or too proud to say I really respect that. And then all of a sudden, this guy who does all that stuff jumps down on the floor, walks on his hands, and then jumps back up and starts juggling apples off the kitchen table. You're pretty talented.
Thank you. Thanks. I like to keep busy. So David, we got some questions now. David Sollenberger says, what is the best way to know if your donor hair is thick enough for a transplant? I have dark fine hair and I'm unsure if I'm a good candidate. Is there a best objective approach?
So number one, I would tell you the easy way to do that, and I think you just answered it, but I'll say it anyway, is like when you go to the barber, if you haven't done this already or if he hasn't said it, is your hair kind of like average? Is your hair kind of normal from what he sees or her? Does the barber say to you, man, your hair looks really good, but it's really thin and fine and sparse? Sparse is an indicator that you may not be a candidate. Or is it like really thick and dense, but just finer hairs? So there's a lot of ways you can find out right from your barber, because obviously that's all they do and they will tell you. So that's a good start. The second is to visit a board certified hair surgeon in your market, in your locally, just to go in and say, hey, if I wanted to have a hair surgery, would I be a candidate? But this has to be board certified, a doctor that is doing this full time, what we talk about on this channel. Because if it's a sales organization and the doctor's getting paid a commission from a business or whatever, everybody's a candidate. The third option is to just send in to either me or anyone else like me and David your photos and do a comb through video. So get someone to stand behind you with your phone, do a short 30-second video, and literally get, like a little bit, like maybe like a foot away, and just do a comb through, and we'll be able to see the quality of the hair and the density in that video.
Yeah, so you can always just text Steve. His phone number is in most of the video descriptions of our videos. So yeah, text him and send him a video, and he can help tell you. So that's a great way to do it. So Anthony says, how many strips would you do? I was told 3 is generally the most you should do. I get it depends on elasticity. So yeah, that's pretty right?
It depends. Depends on the strip sizes, right? So we're gonna use a couple scenarios, right? Let's just say a Norwood 5, which is a lot of hair loss. So we want to do the first strip, and it's based on the size of your head, and also the flexibility of your skin, like you just said. So let's just say for that procedure, you got 3,000 grafts. Let's say you went and did it again, took out the scar, got another 2,800 grafts. Probably not a good idea to do it a third time. I'm always erring on the side of caution. Then that should cover you front half, back half, and then the back half is tough. Crowns are tough. You guys all watch me know that I'm not a big fan of crowns because they're challenging. So we probably want to put a little bit more back there, but I wouldn't do that. I'd put a little bit more in the frontal hairline, and you can do that with FUE. Now, if you have a flexible scalp, and that all is based on the surgeon, and there's no real measurement for it, this is very touchy-feely. So if you go to the surgeon over and over and over that you started with and you like, he will remember during the surgery as he's closing the wound how much flexibility you have left and note it in your chart. If you go from surgeon to surgeon to surgeon, the only indicator they can have is just kind of putting their hand on your forehead and then kind of pulling your skin up and down. But let's just say for this conversation, you're probably only going to have 2 large strips and then have to go over to FUE just to keep you safe.
Cool. Yeah. So sometimes people can get away with 3 for sure, but
Yeah.
but yeah, like pretty much most people are just are good with 2, right?
Yeah, like if you did 1,000 grafts for your first procedure because you just wanted your hairline, then all of a sudden you started going bald and you wanted to do a large strip. Well, now we got a little one and a big one. But what if you did 1,000 grafts and then 1,500? Now we got a little one and a medium one. And it's all about the size of the tissue, right? So then you could probably go for a third. But if you're bald and you do 2 large strip procedures and you're looking for a third, I would be very cautious.
Okay. Cool. All right. So now I have MB 1000. I'm not sure. MB 000. Is there any hair treatment for removing roughness of hair? I have tried many conditioners and masks, but nothing worked out. I want smooth, shiny hairs. Please suggest.
Yeah.
So did you already have a hair transplant then, or what? It's just you're just watching the channel because you want smoother hair? I'm a little confused. Are you experiencing any hair loss? Could you let us know? Because I think you kind of need to know that first before answering this, right? So let us know if you're dealing with hair loss. I'm a little confused about the smoothness of hair kind of question. David Sullenberger says, cool, I'll take you up on that. All right. Cool. Well, yeah, I look forward to hearing from you. So then John Bourne says, hey guys, great content as usual. Started on oral minoxidil and finasteride 6 months ago. Was bald. Had 2 hair transplants, 4,000 total. Having crown done this summer. I have new hairs appearing from the meds. Oh, awesome. Happy to hear that. Yeah.
It's awesome.
The oral minoxidil finasteride combo is just incredible. So I'm not sure where you're getting your medication, but we'd love for you to be on Lock Lab if you're not on that. We think it's like the most ideal combination, and we source the highest quality ingredients available. So we're really proud of that, and I get all of my friends on Lock Lab. But I'm happy to hear you're having great results from the oral medication. That's definitely the way to go. MB 1000 said, not hair loss right now. I'm on medication. Okay, awesome. Happy to hear that. So just for smoother hair, to be honest, I'm not really an expert on smoother hair.
So let me make this easy for you. I think, especially when it comes to the female subset, that a lot of us want something we don't have. I always say...
I think this is a male.
Right, but I'm just using it as an example, right?
Okay.
So a lot of people that have curly hair, they want straight hair. A lot of people that have straight hair want curly hair. A lot of the ladies I work with, the African American ladies, They all have really curly natural hair, which I think looks absolutely stunning, and they want to just use these chemicals to make it straighter.
Mm.
So the answer to your question is, first of all, you probably have great hair, and I would just live with that. And but that's just the easy answer. I don't mean to just poo-poo you. I'm going to answer your question. So you might want to go to like one of these fruity salons, not just a barber, and find out without damaging your hair if there's things they can do, things they can teach you, flat iron and things like that. But normally, once you have a certain type of hair, it's really hard to go to the other kind of hair.
Yeah. So Christian says, I had two FUT surgeries with Dr. Morisanu Hattingen and here in Switzerland. I had 6,000 grafts now, Norwood 5 here, and I need more FUE surgery in the future. Does it make sense to take body hair transplants parallel to FUE?
So I have a saying, just, and I'm not trying to be funny in any way, because I wish I had some more hair in certain areas, but body hair on the head generally looks like body hair on the head. So be very careful. Usually we only use it to fill in some scars or to use it for the crown. You have to be very careful, because what you don't want to do is get really greedy and mess yourself up. Okay. These things are really hard to take out, and they leave scars, meaning like once they're put in your head. So for the most part, the hair that's under your chin, I don't know if you have any good hair under there, but that's probably the best hair to use on your crown. Until I see otherwise, I think our friend David, what's his name, out in San Francisco? He's a YouTuber. He had tons of work done in the Philippines.
Oh, yeah, Jay.
Jay. So Jay had his work done with Dr. McGrath in his hairline, but he's had body hair, and I think he
Yeah.
did okay.
Yep.
So
So it wasn't on his hairline though. So
Yeah, right.
essentially, I mean, body hair you can use. It's almost like free donor hair in a way, though it can be kind of expensive to get it done because it's just pretty complicated, like numbing up that whole area of the body. But I think on the crown, most people are fine with it.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like it's on the crown. It's just kind of adding some density. So I don't see any problem with that as long as the expense is okay for you, and it's going to be just a longer day in the surgery, because it takes a while to do all that numbing and everything. I think you're going to be good. So as long as you're with a great surgeon, and a great surgeon is going to know not to use body hair in your hairline.
Right.
They're not going to do that. So I would say that it's pretty fine to do. That really comes down to just money. But I mean, body hair can be transplanted on your head and help add density, and it's free grafts in a sense, because you're not taking donor hair, right?
Right.
Or FUE first. Okay, I'm a little confused here. I had 600 grafts now in Norwood 5 here. I need more FUE surgery in the future. Does it make sense to take body hair parallel to FUE? Oh, okay. Now I got it. I didn't answer your question exactly right. I didn't quite understand it at first. So Christian says, if I use all my donor and FUE resources gone, the lateral humps start to go down. I'm afraid I cannot just fill in one spot.
Well, I think I can answer that question. To my knowledge, in my experience, you want to exhaust the donor in the back of the head first. Once you run out of that and you're still not completely pleased without hurting yourself, then you would use facial, beard, under the chin, and body hair for that.
Yeah,
As
so
long as-
I would probably, yeah, and the thing is that you're going to get the most bang for your buck off of the hairline. The hairline is really what, like,
Yeah.
what's what frames your face. That's what people remember. It's even just like if you have a little bit of hair in your crown, you can use like powder in your crown and
Yeah.
like have it disappear in seconds. So like really, if it was me, I would exhaust what I could do with my hairline, with the front, with the FUE, with the FUT, and then, if you want more in your crown after that, then just go back and get some body hair done.
Yeah, and keep in mind that David and I both, we think a lot alike, and my take on that is the crown doesn't change how you look. Now, we're all guys, or mostly on these things, and some guys are like, "Hey, man, the crown bothers me so much, you have no idea." That's a different guy. But if you're looking for advice, don't focus so much on the crown. Use the makeup and the